Hello, everyone, and good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are around the world. It's another time or that time of the month. Welcome to another community call. This time it's November the 1st. We've just gone through all the October scaries. We're now into Movember, or November, as they say. We call it Movember sometimes in New Zealand. So I've been getting a head start on my moustache, making sure that we represent Movember wherever you are in the world. Thank you very much for joining the call today. We've got a lot to cover over, so we'll get started and carry on through. As always, if you have any questions, put a comment in the comment section. If you're watching on YouTube, for example, just put in the comment section there. I can see them all here, and we can get to them either live or at the end of this call, of course. So let's get started with, of course, the main three areas. We're going to focus on our three main focus areas this month, like every month, and we're going to start with the core product. So in terms of things we're starting about, we're going to talk about network supports. There's a lot this last month in October. We added support for one of the biggest one was Soroban and Stellar. Stellar is one of those huge different networks that's been around for a long, long time, and they have recently announced support, or they recently launched a new smart contract network called Soroban. They reached out to us a while ago and said, hey, can you come and please provide indexing support for Soroban and Stellar as well? And so we did. We worked on it. It was quite a bit of a tough one, but we made it work. And even I showed off and gave a demonstration to a bunch of builders at Meridian, which is Stellar's premier conference last month as well in Madrid. So Stellar and Soroban are two, or one big network where there's a lot of new development happening. There's some of the smaller ones that came through as well, where we have Clayton, the Cosmos Zone, ZK Sync, another zero knowledge proof network, Algoric, Astar, a long customer of ours on Polkadot, have recently launched a Polygon ZK EVM based network, and we were there to provide support as soon as they launched. So that's another example. And then finally, Boba network also came through last month. This takes our kind of network families to quite a busy slide now. But this isn't actually the real picture. The real picture is we support a bunch of networks out there. So across the 5 main different families, or sorry, 6 different families, EVM networks, Cosmos, Polkadot, Stellar, Near, and Algorand, there are over 100 networks that we support. In fact, our website keeps a live tally. And you can see here, when I took the screenshot, it's 112 networks. I don't know if it's changed now. No, it's still 112. But if you haven't seen this, I recommend having a look at our website. I really enjoyed having this page here. It really kind of shows off. Let me just show this tab. This page is pretty awesome. It kind of lists out every single network that we have, it has descriptions for these different networks, and it really kind of shows off the vast majority and the wide landscape we provide indexing support to. So we're going to be doing more improvements to this page, especially around adding documentation links and example project links. But it's a great page to get lost in a huge number of networks out there that SubQuery provides support for, 112 of them to be exact. So 112 networks. In terms of other small things, we've added some new features over the last month. These are some more kind of nerdier features for the developers out there. The first one is this one to support in-memory caches. So if you're developing a project and you want to constantly read or use a variable, where you can use our in-memory cache, which is lightning fast. It's a temporary store of data that is available across different mapping functions. If you can't really imagine how this means, there's a screen kind of, this image at the bottom here is some kind of example code that uses it, where you might in memory kind of store a count of the number of records that day, and you might want to load that and update that every time you encounter a new record. So it's a very developer-focused feature, but it saves developers from making a database call, which are very slow, and it provides a bit more flexibility in terms of storing and persisting data between different mapping functions within your project. The second main feature that we released last month is an M-block filter, and this is a great little filter that you can now use. On some networks, if you upgrade your smart contract, you might have one set of code logic for the old contract And then when you update it, you might want to have a new set of logic because there's a breaking change in your contract, for example. So an M-block filter allows us to deal with that. So your indexer does one indexer for this kind of set of blocks, stops, and then a new set of indexing pipelines, mapping functions, and so forth proceed for the next set. It can also be used for project initiation. So if you want to insert a bunch of data when your project starts, so let's say you want to initialize the database with a lot of seed information. So for example, some popular accounts or some existing contracts that you instantiate your network with. You can also use the M-block filter for instantiation of data in your projects. I want to talk about multi-chain indexing. This is a big feature that our customers have been using. SubQuery's multi-chain indexing has finally got managed service support. So what that means is that we already have a bunch of customers using the multi-chain indexing. It's the main advantage that SubQuery has over its competitors, where we can index multiple networks from data from multiple networks into the same SubQuery project. So when you're building a UI, and trust me, I always talk to teams about that are really focused on UI, and they always talk about this as a main thing for when you're designing a new application in Web3. You don't want to have users switch between different networks because it's a horrible experience. You want to provide one user interface that shows information, data, assets, NFTs, whatever you have from all the different networks that you operate on in the same view. That's kind of the design that our customers are working towards. And so we finally now support multi-chain indexing in a managed service. It looks a bit like this. You can deploy a single project. You can switch between the different networks to see the different statuses. And it also appears in the Explorer like this. This is an example project I'm running for Galaxy multi-chain NFTs. It indexes all the Galaxy NFTs that have been awarded for voting across any chain that Galaxy supports. And so you can see this and how it appears in the Explorer right here. That's it for the SDK updates. I'm now going to hand over to Brittany, who's going to come on camera. Hey, Brittany, can you?
Yes, hello.
Loud and clear.
Awesome. So I guess firstly, by way of introduction, I'm Brittany. Some of you that have been around a long time, I know lots of you might have seen me in a community call maybe this time last year, but it's been a while since I've jumped on one of these. Otherwise, you might have seen me lurking in Discord, posting every now and then. I'm the mastermind behind most of the Zealy quests. So mostly the chat in Discord with me is usually about Zealy and what's going on there. So community, first up, we have a few customers that we have been announcing recently. So we're really enjoying Cosmos ecosystem and having a lot of success there. So the first one is OKP4, which is an open knowledge protocol in Cosmos. James actually did an interview recently with Theo from their team, or I think he's French, so he said his name much more beautifully than that. I'll link that interview in the chat as well. So if you haven't checked it out already, make sure to check it out. Next up is Bitsong, which is another Bitsong Studio, which is another Cosmos project. They are trying to build the home of music NFTs and building a DX for music token as well. So they're doing a lot of cool stuff in Cosmos and been working with us closely to get all the data they need there. And then we also have Folks Finance. So they're a DeFi borrowing, lending, trading platform in Algorand. And they have, in particular, they have a Folks Router metrics page that SubQuery is powering. But they're also using us for a few other things, including internal monitoring and things like that. So they're using us for a bunch of stuff there. Up next, we've been releasing some example projects. So Bored Ape Yacht Club, Lens Protocol, all on these kind of really big projects. We're releasing SubQuery projects with articles explaining around them the data, how you get the data and what data it shows. We often have customers asking for like case studies, and this is the kind of thing they want, something they're familiar with, something they know of, and how the data can be obtained there using SubQuery so that they can then apply it to their own use case. So we're releasing a lot of articles around and creating these SubQuery projects around these really big projects. So make sure to go check them out, especially all you developers. Go have a look at the articles we've released, because these ones will be super interesting for you. Twitter Spaces we've been diving into recently. So I think it would have been about a month ago now, we had a Cosmos themed Twitter Spaces. So we had Jay from Kronos and Augusto from Archway, and we had an awesome chat with them. I think you can still go find the recording if you want to check that out. And then last week, I believe, unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties with Twitter. It simply would not let any of us start the session when we were looking to do a mantle themed spaces. So we couldn't get past that, and we decided to postpone until tonight, depending on where you are in the world. So it's at 3 p.m. UTC. It's going to be with Arjun from Mantle, head of ecosystem, and then also a core contributor from the Tsunami X project, which is quite a big DeFi project built on Mantle. So 3 p.m. UTC, I think that's about 4 a.m. here in New Zealand. So it's in about 5.5, 6 hours. And I think most of you are in much more time zone friendly areas than I am. So hopefully you can jump on and join us over there. There will be, speaking of the Mantle Twitter Spaces coming up, and speaking of Zeely, there is going to be a quest in Zeely to listen out, just like there is today, for a secret code word. So make sure you join there. You can get that XP boosted just by listening. James will say the code word somewhere during the session, so just listen out. He'll make it super clear. So speaking of Zeely as well, I'm sure lots of you are already right in there completing quests. But if you're not, definitely jump in. There's heaps of opportunities for XP, as well as we have a campaign running right now where 5 winners are going to win $50 USDC. So a $250 prize pool for 5 winners will be selected. All you have to do is retweet it, celebrating that integration with Stella's smart contract platform Soraban that James mentioned earlier. You just have to retweet it and write some words. Make sure to hashtag SubQuery is universal. And it closes at 11:59 p.m. on the 1st. So today. So I think that's in bit over 12 hours. So you've got a bit of time left. If you haven't done it already, go get into it, slip in there before we close it and pick our winners. And also while you're there, check out all the other Zeely quests. There's a lot of cool stuff. And just by being here, you're gonna get the secret code word coming up soon as well, which is a quest in Zeely. So I think James already linked our Zeely quest board in the chat, but if he hasn't, him or Suchi will be linking it right now, I'm sure. So go over there, and that leads me to Galaxy. So some of you might be familiar with this platform as well. It's another quest platform, quest to earn kind of situation. We've just launched recently kind of a socials onboarding campaign. So making sure, if you're not already, you're following all our Discord, Telegram, Twitter, YouTube, the works. So that's the first campaign, kind of easing everyone into it. I'm sure a lot of you are already following all those things, so you can claim those, I think it's called loyalty points over on Galaxy. So you can claim those really quick. It'll be super easy. And then we will start ramping up and kind of using Galaxy for more on-chain type stuff, because it can verify what you do on-chain. So getting you guys involved if you're not already in the Kepler network, and getting rewards based on doing stuff in Kepler and what will ultimately become SubQuery network as well. So more of that on the on-chain stuff that we'll be doing over there, while also definitely carrying on with Zeely. So that brings me to, in celebration of our Galaxy launch, this is our Zeely code word. It's there on the screen. Into the Galaxy, one word. Make sure you spell Galaxy like that. It is on purpose. That's how the platform is spelt. I think Suchi's just put it in the chat, so you can copy paste that one there. Make sure you get it now. I believe we're going to share the slide deck, but we will delete the slide before it gets shared. So it's only for you guys that are on this call. Don't give everyone the inside scoop on Discord and let everyone know. This is just for you guys. You earned it. Go get that XP boost and enjoy. And I think that brings us to the end of the community growth work. So I'll pass back over to James from here.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Brittany. So don't miss out. Go put that code word in. So that brings us to the final section of this month's call, the SubQuery, or the section about the SubQuery network. So what have we done in the past month with this? Well, the first thing I want to show you is the improvements we've made to our Explorer. Now, people that have used the Explorer before or been on SubQuery before, we actually find this quite you have seen this before, right? This is nothing new. The Explorer is a tool that we have. I'll just share a live screen, actually. It's a tool you have where you can go and look at all these different projects out there. So, for example, I can look at projects from, there's a bunch of Nova Wallet ones at the top, unfortunately, right now. But, for example, this one that's doing stable assets on a Kala by Nuts Finance. I can go look at them. I can make some example queries and so forth. We've done some brand new rebranding, made it dark mode for all you developers out there that hate seeing anything that's not a black screen or a dark screen. It is now dark mode. But the cool thing I want to show you that is relevant to the network that we've recently released is now you can switch with this particular single button here. You can switch to the decentralized network. And so on one place, you can see all of the projects from the SubQuery managed service, a centralized system, as well as a decentralized network. And here you can see the same thing. It's a very similar UI. Noodle, for example, this parachain project from Noodle, I can go in here, I can have a look at it, and it will link me to the SubQuery Kepler Explorer, where I get to see the full information about this project. So that's a really cool kind of feature where we're combining the Explorer for both of these different services into one place. So the SubQuery Explorer doesn't just show you the managed service data or the decentralized network data. It shows you it all in one place, which really is going track to the point that I'm trying to make, was that the network and the managed service, it's still SubQuery under the hood. It's still the same way you kind of run projects. It's just one's decentralized and one's not. So we're trying to make it as seamless as possible for developers to move across. And to kind of remind people of how much effort we're putting in here, I want to talk about a recent migration we've done with a customer of ours called Noodle. And they have migrated their application to the decentralized network. Now, this is a big milestone for us at SubQuery, because it is an external customer that is now in Polkadot, that is now completely relying on the decentralized network. It shows that the SubQuery network is production ready, and that customers are now trusting their production ready applications to work on this network. So Noodle, for example, they have this NFT wallet or this NFT application, and this application, the data behind it all comes from the decentralized network. It comes from indexes that index this project on the network around the world. So already Noodle are observing big improvements to their performance from that decentralized network. So they found that Kepler takes less than 20% of the time to index and serve that data to the applications. And of course, they're seeing a lot more, a lot lower latency. They're seeing a lot higher performance because the indexes are located in different areas of the world. And so users get access to data closer to them in a faster way. So they have fast response times. So this is a big step forward for SubQuery Network and for Noodle themselves. And it's a great example of how the SubQuery Network is production ready at this stage. So next one I want to talk about is the Kepler Milestone. We kind of announced this recently, that we have a milestone, a big milestone this past month, and that is to allow anyone to join the Kepler network. So from now on, anyone can join and participate as a delegator, or if you want to, as an indexer. It is now an open pre-mainnet network. There is no limitations. There's no allow listing or whitelisting of wallets. As long as you complete KYC, you can then access the network. And you can access the network using the swap mechanism. The swap mechanism allows you to effortlessly swap USDC to KSQT, which is a token of Kepler. And it's now open and unlimited for any KYC participant. If you want to learn out how to do that, join a Discord channel and head to a channel called Kepler Swap Support. And there's all the instructions in there of how to KYC and then how to swap tokens. And the swap UI looks a bit like this. You can see there's quite a few tokens still in the pool, and we're topping up the pool every day to make sure. I also want to remind everyone of the Kepler office hours that we have every week, sorry. This week, obviously, we don't have any because we're on the community call, but every week we do usually run office hours. And we go and hop on Discord, and we also talk about various things around Kepler. Usually Ian, our CTO, joins us, and he kind of goes through some of the more technical things with indexes. And so we have a nice discussion with some indexes about different things. Now, I will want to congratulate in the background, I believe Suchi's updated and picked one random person. And that, it doesn't actually have that, but it's actually Digital Future, I believe. So let me just put that on the screen. I think it's this one here. They have won 500 XP on Zeri. And so if you are them, you should be able to reach out to Suchi on Discord, and she'll be able to award that to you. Unfortunately, the slides haven't updated while we're presenting them. But congratulations to Digital Future for winning the instant win. Now, I'm sure a lot of you guys will be just asking questions. Of course, we're in the general channel and Discord. One thing we're working on right now is we're just trying to line up some exchanges and other players at the moment. I know everyone's desperate to hear news about token launches and token sales. We're trying to get all of our ducks in a row, trying to tick off all the boxes, cross our T's and dot our I's. So I don't have unfortunately, any concrete dates or news or timelines around the TGE. We're still very much focused on it at the moment. We're still working very hard for it. We kind of are working on a date, but we're trying to get launch pads, exchanges, and all these other players on board. And if you've ever kind of talked to these guys, you'll know that it's quite tricky, it's quite difficult, and it's not the easiest process. So I wish I could give you some information today about dates around TGE or anything like that, or public network launch. I don't have those, unfortunately, at the moment. But as you can see, with what you're seeing with the Kepler network, with customers migrating to it, we're basically ready from a technical perspective for all of this stuff. So we're very, very close, and we're just trying to finish off the last of all the tasks to launch a token to make sure the launch is massive, successful, and it's very sustainable over the long term. So thank you very much, everyone. That's kind of the end of the call, the scheduled call. If you have any questions, feel free to chuck them into the comment section. You can also put them into Discord, into general. I'm there right now as well. But if there's no one else wanting to ask anything, you can always find us, of course, in Discord. Is to jump into Discord and to message us there. You can find us. You can also look at our documentation online. We've just updated a bunch of new quick start docs and other written workshops that Brittany went over yesterday, or earlier today, sorry. And this slide's a bit outdated, but we've actually done a lot more work on our developer guild right now. I can quickly just show that off while I'm here, where we've got a bunch of tasks. So if you're a developer and you want to contribute to SubQuery, there's a bunch of tasks in our developer guild that you can go and contribute with or via. So for example, people have been creating starter projects with various Cosmos zones, like Algorithmic, which was one we announced this month. but there's also a bunch more. So Jackal, Dimension, Celestia, Frax. There's some migration tasks and migrating subgraphs, very straightforward. And of course, there are some more meatier challenges, harder challenges for the better developers out there, but of course they have larger rewards. So for example, if you're interested in helping us update the GraphQL playground in our open source query service, there's up to 1,500 KSQT up for grabs to win this. So I do recommend you, if you're a developer and you want to do some work, if you want to contribute to SubQuery, go to our developer guild. There might be a link somewhere. I'll put it in the comment section here. I'll also put it on the screen right now. But it's on our documentation somewhere, and you can go and check those projects out and go and contribute in whatever way you want. So just message us on GitHub. So thank you very much for joining. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks for giving us the time, and we'll be back very soon in December, while the time flies so fast, with more information, hopefully more things about TGEs, about network launches, and all the fun stuff that I know you guys are looking forward to seeing. So thank you very much, guys, and have a wonderful rest of your day, wherever you are in the world. Good morning, good day, good evening, good night, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Bye, everyone.